David Bird here, and in this video I want to talk to you about why I'm the connection coach. And it's for a couple of reasons really. The first is that on my journey of change and exploration and healing and spiritual awakening and all of that, what I've come to learn is that whenever we're having a problem, it's always on some level to do with connection. And therefore the solution as well is on some level to do with connection. Another way of thinking about this for me is that it's to do with the relationship we have to whatever that thing is. So whether it's to do with a mental health challenge such as anxiety, depression, stress, addiction, or whatever, or whether it's to do with a goal or a project or something we're trying to strive for that we might be having difficulty with, it's to do with the relationship we have with that thing. And for me, the relationship we have with that thing is often symptomatic of the relationship we have with ourselves, how we relate to ourselves, what we think and feel about ourselves. And also you could say our relationship with the wider world, our experience of life. And I find that can often play out in our relationship to other people, as well as our relationship to what I would call the bigger things, such as our values, our sense of purpose, the causes we believe in. And some people would also include things like spirituality and their religion here. For me, growing up and for a long time, I felt like a bit of an outsider and, well, fundamentally less than. I felt my big thing was I felt not good enough. So not only was that how I thought and felt about myself, it also then that then affected how I treated myself. It affected what I thought I could do and couldn't do, my sense of capability, and what I felt I should and shouldn't do at the same time. But it also played out in my relationships with other people, how I viewed other people in terms of comparing myself. For example, if someone could do something I couldn't do, I would always assume, I really believed that it was because there was something special about them. They had some talent I didn't have. But then conversely, if there was something that I could do that they couldn't do, it was like, well, you could just learn it. Like I learn it, obviously, it's entirely possible. There's a complete mismatch there. But then it also played out in terms of my my sense of purpose and the things that were important to me because of the relationship I had with my capabilities and what was possible for me. So it affected what I strived for and the challenges I had there. So whenever I'm working with somebody on something they're having difficulty with, that's what I'm looking for. Like, how are they relating to, what's their relationship to the problem, to the issue they're having? And how is that connected with the relationship they have with themselves and with their experience of life in the greater world, other people, all that kind of thing. And the other reason that I'm the connection coach, I guess, is that what I found, again, through my journey is that fundamentally the most powerful and important thing when it comes to doing change work or any kind of growth or learning when you're working with somebody is the connection that we have with that person. So back when I was employed, I was working in a job where it didn't really feel my sense of purpose and meaning anymore. And I'd previously had things outside of me that did that, such as like I was a Samaritan for a while and I ran a local open mic night. But those things had fallen away, and I was then promoted to basically out of my depth. And I had to step up to be able to meet the challenge of this role. But my heart wasn't really in it. And this is before I understood how all this stuff worked. But I was suddenly aware that I was getting triggered more into depression. And my boss at the time said, he was very supportive, but he was like, we've got to try and figure this out. So I went the usual route through the National Health Service to get some help. But the first time that I met the therapist that I think I was signed up for 10 to 12 sessions with, I found that I just didn't connect with him. And don't get me wrong, I was a difficult client. I can be a difficult client. I was definitely a difficult client back then. But because there wasn't that connection, there was no way we could do good work. I was combative. I didn't respect him. I was mistrustful. All my barriers were up. And what I eventually did is I left that relationship and I went back to a previous therapist that I'd worked with. And I was able to do good work with him. And it really showed me that that connection is one of, well, if not the most fundamental aspect of any kind of change work, because I trusted him. I was able to work through some of those vulnerable things we talked about that I was having difficulty with. And if there was ever anything where he was sharing something that was maybe outside of my perspective or might challenge something that I believed, I felt safer and more open to going there, I guess, again, because I had that trust, that respect, there was that connection there. So that's why I'm the connection coach.